Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I've been seeing all your comments on TikTok asking me for reviews analysis for this one, so today, it's finally happening. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this exclusive discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Now let's not delay any further and jump right into the details.
To get things started, let's hear from our first reviewer.
This reviewer is a long-time user of this brand's all-in-one devices, having owned several models over the decades for general home and office use. When it came time to replace a previous, reliable machine, our reviewer was a bit worried. Seeing many negative online reviews and noticing that this new model was considerably less expensive than its predecessors, there was a real fear that the quality might have declined significantly. However, after using this wireless printer for a short while, those fears have been put to rest. This client has found it to be just as reliable as the older model it replaced, happily printing, copying, and faxing various documents throughout the day. The automatic document feeder has been a particular highlight, working more smoothly and accurately than the one on the previous unit. Even the starter ink cartridges seem to be lasting longer than anticipated, which was a pleasant surprise given the warnings from others. The fax function was also tested and worked without any issues. While the product itself is performing well, the overall experience wasn't flawless. The initial attempt to purchase this machine from a big box retail store turned into a frustrating ordeal involving incorrect inventory and pressure to sign up for an ink subscription service. This client ultimately returned that purchase and ordered the device online, which proved to be a much smoother and more affordable process. Additionally, contacting customer support to correct an issue with the warranty registration was a headache. Despite the support issues, the reviewer is quite happy with the machine's performance for its price. So far, it has been a great tool for their daily needs.
Awesome. Let's hear what our next reviewer has to share about their experience.
This reviewer just got this all-in-one printer last night and plans to update the review once the semester starts, and they've had a couple of months to really put it through its paces. They wanted to share some initial thoughts that stood out right away. First, connecting it to their Windows 10 laptop was a breeze. However, there was a slight issue with the USB connection. The box suggests you can plug a USB drive straight into it, but that's not the case. You need a male-to-male connector USB cord. They downloaded the driver software directly from the website without any problems, even though they had never set up a printer before, which speaks volumes about the process. Our reviewer printed a few test pages and noticed that the paper tray's automatic paper stopping feature, which they saw in a YouTube review, wasn't working. They were curious if anyone knew why. Also, this thing is bigger and heavier than expected, so make sure you have some extra room behind it to fully open the lid. The ink cartridges installed easily with no leaks, and the printer immediately showed them as full. This client would be very upset if they weren't completely full. The review mentions that the ink levels are just an estimation and that it could be incorrect. They were also able to personalize the printer's email address, which was a plus. This device seems packed with features, and our reviewer is excited to finally have a printer for college. Being able to print papers without having to deal with the unreliable printers on campus will be such a relief. Fingers crossed that it doesn't have any major issues down the line. The reviewer did weeks of research and mentioned that the cost of ink is about average compared to other brand name printers. They decided against a laser printer, even though the ink lasts longer, because they didn't need professional quality photo prints, just something reliable for school. The picture quality isn't great, so if you're getting this device to print photos, I wouldn't recommend it.
Alright, let's find out what our next reviewer has to share.
This reviewer recently got this printer as a replacement for an older model, and the initial setup was pretty straightforward, which seems to be a common theme with this brand. You can set it up either through the website or with the included disk, and our reviewer chose the online method. The instructions were clear and simple, and they were up and printing in about half an hour. So far, the client has mostly been using it for black and white documents and hasn't really tested out the color or photo printing capabilities yet. They mention they'll update later when they've had a chance to experiment more. It connects to their home network without any issues, printing quickly from different devices throughout the house. They're using a Netgear router and extender, and it seems to play well with that setup. A neat feature is the email printing option, which they've used with other products from this brand before. It lets you print documents by simply emailing them to a specific address assigned to the printer. The ink situation might be something to watch out for. Our reviewer installed the cartridges that came with the printer, which they heard is important if you plan to use the automatic ink refill service. They're not sure how well that service would work for a small office and don't think it's necessary for a home user. They've had problems with ink cartridges drying up or clogging in previous printers from this brand, but haven't had this printer long enough to experience that yet. They also note that buying XL cartridges or refilling them yourself is usually cheaper than the automatic refill service, especially if you don't print that much. Overall, after a month of use, our reviewer is happy with the print quality and speed, and think it's a good home printer.
That's it for this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Appreciate you watching. See you next time.